Hello everybody, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. In this video, I'm gonna have to shake my head at this Divine Grace spawn. But anyways, let's actually talk about it. The reason I'm shaking my head is, first of all, it's a 37 cost monster, and 36 cost weapons, and 37 cost armor. So, in other words, there's not much of a point to really getting this. And I do not kid you, like the armors and weapons, really no point. They offer magic and physical damage down. They're going to be, unless you want them for the cosmetics, that is. I just thought about that. Unless you want them for like the cosmetics, or perhaps say you want them for elemental, even though there's like a treasure spawn over here that I would recommend instead, unless you already like kind of like spent out on this one. Maybe you could go for this one, but if you really want one elemental, I'd go for this one instead of this one personally. I wouldn't even worry about this one. This one is a big, huge shake my head. And the skill that these weapons have are exclusive class skills. You can test this if you want. Take any exclusive class skill you want in the game and try it versus like Art of Vitality, Art of, what was the other one? There was another Art of, I forgot what it was called. Art of Attack. You could take it against Seal of Attack. You could take it against, what other ones is there? Sacred Almighty Seal. Pretty much any move or any, not any move, but any skill that doesn't have a skill exclusive, it's not skill exclusive, you should see so much more, well, at least more of a proc rate increase from the ones that are not skill exclusive versus the ones that are skill exclusive. When I previously was talking about the treasure spawn, that's why I didn't realize that they were 37 cost weapons and 38 cost armors, so that's the flip side. But even then, these skills would be a bit iffy in those, so I didn't even really touch those. Plus I had to save, so there's no harm in me skipping over those whatsoever. I'm not going to rush for 37 cost weapons and 38 cost armors. I don't need to, especially with my gear score right now. It's not so bad whatsoever. But anyways, all these have the exclusive skills for themselves, and they do scale with the number of wind elemental whatever types you have for whatever type of weapons. I don't think that's going to make it all too much of a difference. There is somebody who says that it has a decent proc rate, but I don't know if they tested it. Like, they didn't say they tested it versus like other weapons. If you were to like put this alone, you would probably notice the proc rate, yes, but I think you would have to test this versus like other weapons to see if this really has that proc rate you're looking for, because I'm still not convinced, especially considering first, it's an exclusive skill, and second, it doesn't boost the actual activation rate, it scales with it. So I'm just going to swipe armors and weapons away. I'm only going to talk about really the monster and the Divine Grace spawn. And again, I'm going to have to shake my head on this one, because first of all, this is overpriced, and I'll show you that in a second. Second of all, this is a 37 cost. I don't know what A-Team's thinking, but when I see something like this that I'm kind of having interest in, kind of like the Mortal of Sins, weapons and armors, and they just really exploit it to the maximum, it really makes me think that I really don't want to touch this game anymore. Like, the more you do this, the more I'm really down about this. I'm really bummed about this. Not just exactly because I want the monsters, because you're trying so hard to force people to really give you the maximum amount of profit as possible before you even get them, like before they even get the monster or anything of the sort. And it's quite saddening. It's supposed to be more like a game and less like a manipulated casino. I'm just saying, this is really stupid. This is really stupid. But anyways, let's talk about why I'm saying this is really, really dumb. Okay, so this monster has an ability power of 170, a success value of 100, it's going to attack 3 times for magic damage when. That right there is decent damage. It's not going to be like overall like high-end, like must-have type of damage. That's not the case. It's supposed to increase the magic attack and attack of all allies by 100% for 60 seconds. So doing that, it's going to have to increase the attack and magic attack buff limit, and that's what it does right here. Next. So it's giving 100% attack and magic attack buff right away. It's going to do pretty much what Kumba here or Momohime do. It's going to apply buff removal resistance, preventing karma or any buff removal effect one time. It's going to increase the max HP by 100% for 60 seconds. It's going to increase use of gadget gains by 2 for 60 seconds as well. It's going to apply Kinjin to yourself, pretty much doing Piercer, increasing max HP by 100. It already doesn't do that. Yeah, it already does that, so I don't know how that's really going to help with Kinjin. It's going to nullify debuffs, nullify use to gouge reduction effects. It's going to boost the power of critical hits by 50, so that's also going to do that. And it's going to apply one elemental field buff to the field, like your field, for 120 seconds. This is an absolutely devastating monster. You could pop this alone, and if your team's strong enough, you can absolutely one-shot. I mean, there's already guilds out there that can one-shot without any monsters. But even if you guys are like all 800k, 900k in the backline, you pop this monster, you're going to be one-shotting the crystal. The only thing this monster doesn't have that you should, like, this monster is almost the perfect, if not near perfect. I can't, like, there's might be a few things that I might not be thinking of that it doesn't have. Oh yeah, like stuff like cost and recovery speed and ability power buffs. Those are the only thing this monster doesn't have. This monster has the field buff needed to do the maximum amount of damage. It's got Kinjin. Kinjin's also really going to help. Stuff like Kinjin or Hero would be awesome. But it's already giving a 100% attack and magic attack buff to all allies. If that was 20% more, that would be the maximum you could legitimately get. And it's doing that removal resistance for karma or balancing or anything of the sort. It's got UC gouge gains clicking with it too. This is good for player versus enemy as well, especially considering that it applies its own like karma or balancing removal effect. That right there is good. And it's Kinjin. It applies Kinjin too, so you can't remove buffs, not debuffs. You can't remove buffs when Kinjin is activated. It's got that wind elemental field, so especially for like elemental lock things, a monster like this would be godly. So this monster is absolutely devastating for those scenarios and situations. Coliseum and Durums, I can't really vouch for this monster. I can't say much for this monster. It applies Kinjin. I think that's going to be the most useful thing it does during Coliseums. But for guild battles, this is a crazy excellent monster. This is a really overpowered monster. And for player versus enemy, this could be used, and it would be very helpful too. And I really like how it looks. The attack animation's not so great, but I like how this monster looks, I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, moving on from there, let's actually get to the Divine Grace spawn, and let's see what they got cooking. Okay, so there's gonna be, like usual, I miss when they did this. They used to actually have rates up on like the new feature gear when you did the spawn 10. They don't do that anymore. This has been like a year or two since I've ever seen them do that. First time half off, 15 gems. They're gonna offer a chest, double chance will activate after first time half off, or after each and every jackpot. You will be able to get 2 chests, 50 to 200 medals to each time you spawn, 6 chests, and let's see what they got within the 6 chests. Okay, so they got Simon Magus Summoning Scroll, which will have low rates by the way, so don't expect to get in on your first try or anything stupid, because the team doesn't want that. They want you to spend the maximum amount possible so you can get it through the metal exchange, and let me tell you, that's a pretty expensive deal they got going there. How expensive? Averaging around 500 to 900 gems. Expensive. That's how expensive Summoning Scrolls can be through the metal exchange, and that's how much they want you to spend on them. Or you could get the feature gear, or you could get the Divine Grace medal. They got XP quest keys within the 2nd chest, 3rd chest, Awakening Orb, Droplets of Ether, 4th chest, cost 20 or higher SSR gear. The issue I see instantly right away is the cost 20 or higher SSR gear. What they should be doing right there is putting the feature gear where the cost 20 or higher SSR gear should be. That would make this spawn a lot more smoother than it will be and actually is. Divine Grace medal 600, Divine Grace medal 400, and these chests will not activate in order. This is just how they want to assort it, so that way you know what's in the chest. So you could do your first spawn and absolutely get, like, let's say, XP quest key right on your first chest. So don't expect to get this right here, the jackpot, on your first chest. So anyways, moving on from there, there's the monster right there, and all the feature gear that I was really talking about that really is good. And then the cost 28 or higher SSR. I mean, it's good, but it's not good enough to spawn like this. Absolutely not. No way, Jose. Especially considering that even if you do spawn it in here, you're only going to get something random. If it was at 30 gem spawn with all this stuff in here, you're guaranteed to get the weapon of your class, I'd say yeah, that's a pretty good spawn. But that's not the case. That's far from the case. 38 cost armor and 37 cost weapons are already out, 18. You need to get a move on that stuff. Honestly, seriously, you can't take back what you did already. 37 cost was the highest, and 37 cost would be the highest, but that's not the case anymore. So here's all the cost 28 or higher SSR stuff. There is a buttload of stuff in here that you can actually get. If you want to check it out, you can. Some of the stuff good, some of the stuff not so good. I mean, if you get the stuff, it should be good for elemental unless it's not the weapon of your class. But anyways, moving on from there. Oh, there's the name. I was about to say, I do not see the name whatsoever of the person that's actually waving to me. 12k medals. That is overly excessive. 12k medals. Extremely excessive. Especially consider the feature gear, which is possible to actually pull within this 12k, not just once but a couple times throughout the jackpots, that you're actually going to be getting the most medals for the spawn form. If not, considering that you also have to possibly go through 6 chests to actually, 6 chests to actually get the 1k, that is. This is overly excessive. This is extremely overly excessive. This is an extremely expensive spawn. Not that 10k was already not expensive enough, they just made it even worse. They legitimately just made it even worse. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to be like, if this was 4.5k, that'd be a different story. I wouldn't be able to resist doing this. But considering it's 12k, I can easily pass without worry whatsoever about doing this. Seriously, this is extremely bad. So they have that right there. And then the weapons and armors are not even as much as the summoning scroll is, which is again overly excessive and kind of dumb, to be fairly honest. Like extremely dumb. So that right there is what I'm saying. I'm not going for the spawn. I would like to, but first of all, it's a 37 cost monster. 38 cost stuff is coming out. And the second thing is, it's so expensive, it is stupid. This is one of the most expensive treasure spawns / divine grace spawns out in Unison League. I'm not kidding you. Like in top 10 that I would say that I've ever done a spawn video for, this is one of the most expensive, and I do not kid you when I say that. This is overly expensive. Well, I wouldn't say top 10, but I'd definitely say in probably top 20, top 25. So that's all I gotta say for this video. Thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, and I hope this helped out. This is the AzureWrath, and I'll catch you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.